When we look back at ancient civilizations, we tend to see them as naive. How could they believe that? That the world was held up by a turtle, for example, or that thunder was the sound of God's bowling, or that sacrificing a goat could bring rain. These myths seem absurd to us. But what if the difference between ancient civilization, ancient people, and us is not as big as we think? I mean, you and I, we live by myths too. Myths that are so close to our eyes that we can't even see them. Myths that don't wear togas or speak in riddles or fly with reindeer, but they are myths nonetheless. Some of these myths are easier to spot in modern society, like the idea that your job title defines your worth or that success is some pre written script. But other myths are more subtle and pervasive, woven into the fabric of how we live, like the belief that love will complete you, or that we are separate from nature, things like that. Everybody acts out a myth, but few people know what their myth is. And you should know what your myth is because it might be a tragedy. And maybe you don't want it to be. So said Carl Jung. What Jung is saying here is that you're already living inside of a story. You just might not know which story. And some of the roles that we play, we didn't choose for ourselves. We inherited them from our culture, our upbringing, our fears, things like that. Existentialists came to a similar conclusion. They said reality isn't just what's out there, but it's what we carry inside. That meaning isn't something we find, but it's derived from our perception. It's something we create, it's our beliefs, our internal narratives. They shape how the world appears to us. That now that idea can feel destabilizing, and that's where the so-called existential crisis comes from. The fear that everything we thought was solid might just be scaffolding. But it can also be freeing because if you're already living a myth, you can choose a better one. We all live by stories, the quiet ones, the ones we absorb without realizing it. They're everywhere. These stories are in the way that we chase love and how we measure success and what we fear and what we think we're supposed to be. All of these come from our myths. Most people never stop to question the stories or the myths that they're living because they mistake them for reality. For example, even the value of money is a myth. There's no objective value, it's just paper. But it works because we all agree to believe in it, right? And that's what makes myths powerful. They can organize societies. It makes large-scale cooperation possible. It keeps the illusion intact. If suddenly we stopped believing in money overnight, life wouldn't get more liberating and free. It would probably get harder. Because some myths give us structure or connection or meaning, yet other ones can chain us to rules or shame and fear. We live inside these stories that were written before we were born. But here's the truth. You don't have to live those stories forever. You don't have to destroy them either, but you should recognize them. And you should also be careful about that realization because it's not an invitation to inflate your ego. You're not the main character in a simulation. You're not the god of your story, of your universe. You're a part of something shared, a player among players, a soul among souls. Understanding your myth doesn't make you its ruler or the ruler of anybody else, but it does make you more aware, more compassionate, less likely to blindly follow and less likely to trample on others. It gives you humility because you realize that everyone else is living their own myth too. Your beliefs shape your world. not just in how you act, but in what you even notice. If you believe life is beautiful, then you will see beauty. If you believe life is cruel, you will only see cruelty. It's not delusion, it's just perception. Most of our myths were passed down from childhood, from culture, from media, from pain. I mean, you were given roles, scripts, labels, and eventually you forgot you're just playing a role. You don't have to keep playing unconsciously. You could stop, step back, ask yourself, what myth am I living? Who handed me this story? And do I still believe in it? Because if your story is a tragedy, you should know it so you can rewrite it.